welcome to another edition of Southern Country. I'm Herb Southern, and welcome to the show, my friends. I'm very lucky to have Capitol Records recording artist Dierks Bentley with me today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Herb. Appreciate it.
Good to see you again, man.
Good to see you, too. It's been a while.
Let's talk about your new album called Modern Day Drifter, due out May 10th.
Yeah, it comes out May 10th. I'm just real excited about it. This is our second record, and the new single's out right now. It's called A Lot of Leaving Left to Do, and it's doing really good. And I wrote most of the songs for the record, and I've been playing some new songs off that record in our live shows and getting a great response, so I'm excited about it. It should be good.
What's different between this album and your self-titled album, Dierks Bentley?
You know, it's really it's kind of the same in that you know, I wrote most of the songs, and production-wise, we tried to keep it country, keep it traditional, use a lot of acoustic instruments, but also try to beef it up with some great low-end bass playing and some great steel playing and electric guitar playing, and hopefully good songs, good melodies makes for good country music.
Is there a common thread between the songs on this album?
Yeah, you know, most of this I named the album Modern Day Drifter. That's one of the songs I didn't write, but the title fit the kind of the whole vibe pretty good. We just, with having been on the road a lot the last 2 years, it's just kind of feel like you know, we drift in and out of town a lot. We play a lot of shows. We played over 200 shows last year, so I just thought that song kind of fit the whole vibe of the record.
Most of them up-tempo, happy, sad?
It's I always say I make records you can drink cold beer too. So I got the sad songs on there, you want to get lonesome, and I got the fun songs you want to go out there and raise hell and have a good time. So it kind of runs the gauntlet. I
just want to make mention, we're talking about your albums, Dierks Bentley, your self-titled album. Platinum, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Congratulations on that one. That's a milestone in your career.
Yeah, it's big. It just went platinum a couple weeks ago, so that was a really big deal for us.
All right. Your self-titled album,
yes,
Dierks Bentley, is straight up country with a few variations added. What are they?
I think, you know, as far as instrumentation goes, I really try to keep it acoustic, almost bluegrassy at times. We have a lot of dobro, a lot of mandolin, a lot of banjo, a lot of fiddle. And so it's got the traditional element, but I think with the types of songs that we write and put on there, I write a lot of songs with Brett Beavers, who's my producer, and we kind of write stuff that's more, a little tougher, more guy-oriented kind of stuff, and I think that mix of those instruments makes for kind of takes a fresh approach on the traditional stuff. Your first song, What Was I Thinking, took off and did not stop till it reached the top of the charts. That's right. That was a cool thing. How did it feel to see your first song, your debut single, zoom to the top of them charts, man? Huh? It was great, man. I was somewhere up in near Washington when I found out that it was actually going to go #1, and you know, it was a big deal for me and all the guys in the band. It was just it's a huge accomplishment, and that song, What Was I Thinking, is really the reason why I was able to get on the Strait tour, the George Strait tour, and go on the Kenny Chesney tour, and really opened a lot of doors for me. So I love singing that song. Where were you when you first heard it on the radio? The first time I heard What Was I Thinking on the radio, I was in Pennsylvania. It was in Lancaster. Okay. And a station played it kind of as a favor on the way out of town. They played it on the radio station. But the first time I really heard it for real, just out of the blue, was in Nashville. I was driving around and came on. I cranked it. I kind of swerved the car over towards the side, you know, and you got it. Pulled off and listened to the whole song. And I still, wherever I am, wherever that song or any of my songs comes on the radio, I reach over and crank it up. I don't blame you. Oh yeah. I don't blame you. I turn it up. I want to make mention also with the #1 video on CMT. Yeah, it was the #1 video. Won a few awards. It won a CMT Breakthrough Video of the Year, and we're actually going to be back for the CMT Music Awards here in just a little bit, so it's pretty cool. I want to make mention also that you were the only new artist on the top 10 of the charts when that song came out, too. Wow. Yeah. Big song. Yeah. And Hollywood Access said that you were, Access Hollywood said you were the next big thing. Well, cool, man. That's awesome. According to what I'm reading here, you know. We just, you know, we spent all our time out on the road. You know, I think we were out in the bus last year 300 days. And yes, you were. We try to make fans of one show at a time, you know. We sign our autographs after every show, and the TV stuff, you know, the Access Hollywood, all that stuff, I don't pay too much attention to it. I get direct feedback from the fans every night, you know, and that's what I go for. It's nice to hear him say that, though. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, yeah. When you write your music, does the term politically correct play any part in during the writing process or the thought process? Oh, does it turn politically correct? Yeah. No. No, I didn't think so. I always say I make records. I write songs for myself, and I make music for me. Right. As far as what I think is cool, and I hope that my assessment of what's cool is cool with other people too, so they go out and buy the records and enjoy the music. But I make stuff for myself, and I don't make any compromises for radio or anything like that. I read in the paper that Merle Haggard once said, "Country music is the common man's poetry." Oh yeah. You believe that? Oh, I believe it, and I believe he's the common man's poet. He is. Haggard's the best, and I really think that the great thing about country music songwriting is you know, writing. It's written in a way that average folks like can understand it and help them apply it to their own lives and get through the hard times or go out and have good times too.
Also read another icon in country music, George Jones, once said country music is like religion. You believe that?
I believe that. I use that in my biography. I use that exact quote. Yeah, I said George Jones said country music's like religion, and I agree with that 100%.
Where were you were always country music?
I grew up listening to country. My dad loved country music, but when I turned 13, I started playing the electric guitar and got really into rock and roll and listened to a lot of Van Halen and a lot of other bad. Well, Van Halen's good. I still like Van Halen, but I listen to a lot of bad '80s hair bands too. I wasted a lot of time. But when I turned 17, I got back into country music through Hank Jr. Really turned me on to
Man to Man.
Yeah, a song called Man to Man. I was 17 years old.
Great song.
Sneaking off, having a beer with a buddy of mine, and we put on he played that song for me, and it just blew me away, and it got me back into country music.
Hank Jr.'s great.
Hank Jr.
Hank Sr.'s great.
They're both great.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
My dad loved Hank Sr.
Yes.
I got into Hank Jr., but through Hank Jr. and through just digging and continually studying and listening to country music, I got back in Hank Sr. on my own terms, and we sing one of his songs every night.
You moved to Nashville at 19. You hanging out bars, clubs, and writers' nights. You honed your skills during that time, huh?
Yeah. I spent all the clubs I went to. Even before I started playing them, I would just go there to listen and learn and try to pick up something, and eventually got the nerve up to start playing on my own terms, and eventually put a band together and started playing around town with that band, and it really just going there and just being part of it. You got to get down there and just study it for a while before you can actually start to apply your own skills to it.
When did you write your first song?
First song I wrote was probably not long after I got back into country music. I kind of set down the electric guitar and started playing the acoustic, and I was probably 18,
Is that song on any of your on any albums?
No. Best advice I got, I moved to Nashville, and I was answering phones at a publishing company, and they knew I wrote songs, so at the end of the day, they invited me to come up and play some songs, and I played them some stuff, and the guy told me, he said, you need to write about 500 songs, and then you'll be at a level where you can start holding on to your stuff. He's like, write a song, throw it away. Or he's like, don't throw it away, put it in like a drawer.
Oh, yeah, right, file it. Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of opened my mind up to how much you really have to write before you write something that's halfway decent, so. I've probably written close to 500 songs, maybe by now, but that's a tough number to get to.
I bet it is. I don't know how you come up with ideas and how you come up with lines, and it amazes me how songwriters work. Their minds, how they work.
Everyone, there's little song titles everywhere. You just gotta listen, and you gotta make sure you write it down. But we probably had a couple just sitting there talking.
I bet you pick up a couple.
I'll give you 50%.
There you go. No, you just make sure you get a success story out of it. Let's talk about a night that you probably remember real well. Friday, April 18th, 2003.
It was the first time I played the Grand Ole Opry.
You got it, pal. That's a career milestone in any man's career.
Yeah, that's a big deal. We're actually going back and playing the Opry at the Ryman, at the old Ryman here pretty soon.
That's even more.
Yeah, which is going to be really cool. But yeah, every time I play the Opry, it's a big deal. It always feels like the first time walking down that stage. And if we ever have a Saturday night off or a Friday night off, we run over there, and I always call Pete Fisher up and, hey man, we got a night coming off here in a week or so, can we come on and play? And whether it's TV or radio, it doesn't matter to me. Just to be out there is really cool.
What feeling did you have when you first stood on that stage that night?
It's kind of out of body experience. You just don't even, you're so nervous that you're not nervous. And just it's a great feeling. It's just I treasure it every time.
Who introduced you that night?
The first time I played the Opry, Steve Wariner introduced me. Really
Who was on the show with you? Do you remember any of the artists on the show with you?
I don't remember anybody.
No, okay. I
just remember me.
Okay, that's good enough.
Too nervous.
Hey, last time I saw you were on crutches. You tore a ligament in your leg.
Yeah, I tore my ACL. We were playing over there at Penn's Peak.
Yeah, Penn's Peak when I saw you.
Yeah. That was the first show back from my surgery. I was on stage with Kenny Chesney. I did 30 shows with Kenny Chesney, and 3 shows into it, I decided to jump off a stage riser in the middle of the show and landed. My knee went the wrong direction. And completely tore my ACL and had surgery about 3 days later, and then I showed up and played Penn's Peak.
You were there.
3 days after that, so we didn't miss any dates, but it kind of slowed me down, to say the least, for about 4 or 5 months. But I'm back to 100%.
Your gold. I read also that your gold record celebration had to be canceled because of that.
Yeah, I was gonna have a gold record celebration. They ended up coming to the hospital room and handing me my gold record while I was in the hospital bed. That was pretty funny.
When you were in Nashville, prior to your first album, you went to the Station Inn and kind of turned your attitude around, your just whatever. I don't know the word I'm looking for.
No, it changed my whole attitude. It really did.
Bluegrass.
I moved to Nashville. I got there in country music at the time. Just wasn't really doing much for me, and it seemed like then you almost had to either be from Texas or look like you're from Texas to fit in, and I didn't. I'm from Arizona, and I wear boots and I wear buckles and I wear jeans, but I just wasn't I just didn't fit that kind of George Strait mold, Garth Brooks mold, and so I kind of got turned off by country music, and the sound at the time was real homogeneous. But luckily, I walked into a bar called the Station Inn that played bluegrass music, and it opened my eyes up to the world of bluegrass music, and I totally fell in love with bluegrass and made some good friends right away in the Del McCurry band. I met those guys. Really,
Del's great.
Del, yeah, they're from Pennsylvania area, and those guys all became good friends, and bluegrass really got me back into just to play music for the sake of loving it, and which eventually got me back into country music, because bluegrass is so rooted in the 50s and 60s, and that's where all the great country music comes from anyway, so it's kind of one and the same.
What did you learn from your world of bluegrass that you brought into the country world?
Yeah, just, I mean, if you listen to my records, it's funny, because I always say my records, they're produced with bluegrass in mind, you know, they're real bluegrassy and instruments. Then the record comes out sounding country, but then you come out and see us play, and it probably sounds a little more rock and roll, but just really just incorporating acoustic instruments and letting acoustic instruments be the main, the main part of the record. You know?
When you were sitting here in Station Inn, did you ever vision yourself as a bluegrass artist?
I tried to, yeah, man.
Did you?
I gave up. I was like, I sat home and practiced Tony Rice licks all day long and listened to Flat Scruggs. Yeah, Flat Scruggs and Lester Flatt's guitar playing. Really, just try to copy his style playing, and Del McCurry too. But I just, I'm never going to be a great, guitar player. I pride myself in trying to play good rhythm guitar, but as far as like being a good electric player, it's just never going to happen for me.
Before we close the show, we're going to run out of time. Talk to me about "Don't Leave Me in Love."
Oh yeah,
remember that album?
Yeah, sure, man. I remember. It's a record. Actually, my very first record I did back in 1999. It's called "Don't Leave Me in Love." I produced it with my buddy Mike Ward, and I still love that record, and it's still out there. I see it on eBay every now and then. Yeah, we're gonna re-release it here at some point. But yeah, it's a special record.
Market Street Brewery. Who walked on stage that night?
Vince Gill.
You got it.
Yeah, Vince Gill. You're quizzing me on my own history. Vince Gill. We were playing down there one night. Yeah. An old bar they used to play at. Really, we kind of got one of my big starts having a regular gig in Nashville, and we played there 2-3 nights a week for 4 hours at a time. And one night, Vince Gill walked in with his mandolin and got up and sang for about an hour and a half. It was
that
really
had
cool.
to be another milestone.
Oh yeah, that was a big deal.
Before you even were out on the charts yet, he come up and sang with you.
Yeah, it was a really big deal.
How about VH1 did the Dierks Bentley album listening party produced by Aristo Media?
Oh, they did?
They did, yeah. I'm reading it,
VH1 Dierks Bentley. Oh, you know what they did?
Yeah.
I think VH1, they released my record over VH1, and it just, the whole album was just VH1. That was my first record. I don't think they've done a new record
Talk to me about Jake.
Jake's doing good.
Yeah, Jake's okay?
Yeah, he didn't make it up here to New Jersey today, but he's back in Nashville. We're going down to Texas next week, and I'm going to take him on that run. It's a 3-day run, which is about the right size and length for a dog. It's anything over a week's too long for a dog.
Yeah, on the bus?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just quickly, we got some awards: ACM, CMA, CMT, Flameworthy, Billboard, Music Row, and I don't know, USA Today, Country Weekly.
Yeah.
You're cleaning them up, pal.
Yeah, we got some awards under our belt, and again, all that stuff, all it means to me, if it brings more people out to the show or brings more awareness to my music, then it's fine. I don't even have a house to hang awards in right now.
Got a boat?
Nah, the boat's a little chilly. I've really been living at a friend's house, but I don't hang any of that stuff up. The only thing that means anything to me is just the response I get from the fans.
Before I close, what's the best song you have that goes with domestic light beer and regular beer? I
got a brand new record. There's a song on there called Domestic Light and Cold.
There you go.
And it's a song I wrote about my favorite kind of beer, which is Domestic Light and Cold. I probably should have added the word free in that title. Domestic Light and Cold is my favorite kind. What was I thinking? That was the video that got me started. So
talk about tank tops. What's the deal with the tank tops?
I'll say we should send this out to Becky in that little white tank top.
There you
she's wearing.
go. There you go.
This is a line in the song I wrote about, and it just I was thinking about a little white tank top, and it kind of took off. And girls, I remember we were playing a show in Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. The first time I saw 2 girls come out wearing little white tank tops, and I knew I was onto something.
I wrote that, and
tank tops.
Tank tops. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
It's a pleasure to have you in Southern Country.
Thank you.
Dierks Bentley taking us out in Southern Country now.